So the New York Times came out with an investigative report where they found that the Biden White House, Joe Biden, Mark Milley, they lied about what happened with the drone strike in Afghanistan. The New York Times, they provided all the goods. They brought out all the receipts. At last, the New York Times decided to do some real investigative journalism, and they showed that the Biden White House, during that drone strike, where they claimed that they killed some Special K fighters and a couple of civilians, that was their statement. They got the Special K fighters, two people, to be more precise, a guy that was preparing stuff and a guy that was helping him. They gave some obscure name to it. They never really gave the people's names that they took out with that drone strike. They just said it was one guy that was facilitating and one guy that was preparing, right? So that drone strike after the Kabul terrorist attack did not take out Special K jihadists. What it did take out, according to the New York Times, and it is confirmed, and they brought out all the receipts, all the videos, they took out 10 civilians, a lot of children, a family that whose father was actually an aid worker. And what this father was doing that day was filling up water jugs of water to take to people. He was driving colleagues to work. He was storing computer bags from various colleagues into his car, which the military thought were bombs, but they were computer bags. And he was driving people around to their jobs. And the military droned him, and they droned his kids and his entire family. His family actually had applied to move to the United States for asylum, refugee status in the U.S. So this family actually wanted to move to the U.S., and Biden and Mark Milley droned them, and then they lied. They lied. They said that they got some Special K fighters. They said that they didn't take out many civilians. They said like 2 or 3 civilians. They took out 10. Complete lie. They got a facilitator and a preparer. No, they took out a family. They took out a man and his entire family, his children, his kids. As he was driving into his driveway, and the New York Times has the videos, and I'll put a link down below to the Zero Hedge Stories, which has the journalist who's documented everything with video, precisely with video, timestamps, the works. And as this father, was driving into his driveway to see his family at the end of the day, his kids would come to the car, and they had like a family ritual where in the afternoons when the father would come home, the kids would surround the car, and he would let the kids actually drive the car into the driveway. And that's when the U.S. took him out. That's when they droned him. Yeah. And then they lied with a statement, and they said when the Hellfire missile hit the car, right? When the Hellfire missile hit the car, they said it was proof that the car had explosives in it, because when the Hellfire missile hit the car, more explosives went off because there were explosives in the car. Those were computer bags, and the New York Times has documented it. And then they took after the scene, the missile wreckage at the scene, and they took it to 3 experts who look at this stuff, and they said there weren't multiple explosives. This was one Hellfire missile. 3 experts confirmed it. They confirmed that the debris and everything that they saw in the video documentation and the photos points to the fact that this was just one missile strike. There weren't bombs or any explosives in the car that this guy was going to drive for another terrorist attack. That's what the military said, that he had packed his car with explosives, and he was going to drive it somewhere for another terrorist attack. No, this was an aid worker who was helping his community and taking care of his family, and had applied for asylum and refugee status in the United States. And the Biden administration took him out. So the New York Times has reported on this. They have got all the receipts. They've documented everything. They've got video footage and a surveillance camera of the man and his daily activities, filling the jugs of water, driving people around. So one complete lie. Why did the Biden administration lie? Well, to cover their asses. That's why. Mark Milley, Biden, because they screwed up Afghanistan so bad, and after the Kabul terrorist strike, they looked so bad, they looked so stupid, they looked so inept, so incompetent, that they decided to just kill anybody they could. And so they targeted this man and his family and his children. And that's the truth of the matter. Optics. That's why they killed him. It was all about optics. And that's what this White House is all about. There is no reality in anything they do whatsoever. It's all about optics and feelings. Remember that Biden spoke with Ghani in July, and what did he tell Ghani, the president of Afghanistan that they put in power? He told Ghani, and I'm paraphrasing, we have the transcripts as well, we have the receipts for that as well. He told Ghani, look, we know the Taliban is going to kick your ass, we know things are going poorly, we know everything's a mess, but just please, don't say anything to the media, cover things up, because we don't want bad press. We don't want the optics to look bad. That's what Biden told him. And we have the transcripts. Unlike the Trump Ukraine thing, we have transcripts of a real scandal, i.e. the Biden White House knew that things were falling apart, but they didn't do anything on the ground in reality. They opted for what? For feelings, media spin, pretend, make believe. This is Biden, this is Obama. Why do you think Hollywood loves these guys so much? Why do you think big tech and social media loves them so much? Because none of it is real. It is all optics and media spin and feelings. And what you saw in Afghanistan is when feelings collide with reality. And that reality was the Taliban. That's what you saw in Afghanistan, when feelings collide with a reality. And that reality demolished the optics and the media spin and the feelings of the Biden White House. If we feel that Afghanistan is going well, then it'll go well, right? If we feel like we're getting Special K jihadists, then people will believe that we took out Special K jihadists. So, to wrap it up, the New York Times did a really good piece of investigative journalism. Of course, you have to ask the question, why is the New York Times doing this? Well, we know that the New York Times is just an extension of the deep state. And it looks like the deep state gave the New York Times permission to publish this and to do this and to gather all this information and all this video footage. And it seems that they're also done with Biden and they're done with Milley. And we may be looking at the end of this administration. The mandates that Biden announced the other day, they're not going to go over too well. The New York Times ran a piece the other day and they said the mandates that Biden announced was a big mistake. Looks like the deep state is preparing to throw away Biden. That's what it looks like, because the New York Times would have never run this piece if they would not get the permission of their owners and their masters. So this was sanctioned. This was given permission by the deep state to the New York Times to run with this. And boy, did they provide the goods. I mean, they've documented everything. I'll put the link down below. You guys can check it out. An administration that is just full of lies. And these are the people that you're going to believe when they tell you to trust the science, right? Once again, what was Biden's speech for the mandates? Everything is going poorly, right? That was his, everything's going poorly and you're to blame. So we're going to run our own little dictatorship here. And we're going to mandate everything and fine everybody and force people to do what we tell them to do because things are going poorly. When you take a look around, people are past this. That's the sense that I get. I'm not in the US right now, I'm in Poland, but people have moved on. That's the reality. The reality is many people, I would say a majority of people have moved on and they're done with this nonsense. But But the Biden White House is scrambling, and they're trying to figure out ways to stay in power because their lies and their optics and their spin is falling apart. Anyway, that's the video. You won't hear me praise the New York Times often, even though I know that this was sanctioned by the deep state, and they gave the New York Times permission to throw Biden under the bus like this. But still, good work is good work. I'll put the link down below. You guys can check it out. It's clear as day. Clear as day what happened. One big lie, and a lot of innocent people and children were killed. All right, that's the video. theduran.locals.com. Check us out on ODYSEE, BitChute, SuperU, and Rumble. You'll find all our videos there. The Duran Shop, 10% off. Use the code REALNEWS.